Okay, good day traders, right? I'm just going to share with you some tips basically on timing, right? Timing of trades. Okay, so we're going to speak on timing. So is that a correct spelling? Yes, okay. So basically we have got 3 sessions when we talk about the trading. Okay, so the day starts in Asia. We've got the Asian session, then we move over to London or Europe session, then we move over to US or the New York session. Okay, so we have got these 3 sessions. So basically, like as you know, we believe the dealers, the market makers, they control basically more or less, well, they cannot ultimately control everything, but they do have a strong hand in how the market plays out during this time. So the Asian session, that basically Southern African time, that's usually from like about midnight, right, to about, you can say, I would say 8 a.m. That is your Asian session, and that's Central African time, South African time. And then your London session, you can say it takes over from about there, I'll say from about 8:30 up to, you can say, well, it continues, but there's a crossover. So I'm just dealing with the crossover, say about 1300. And then we have our New York session, which I would say is from about 1400. These are not exact time, but more or less this is where I have noticed the market moves. You can say 1400 all the way to about 2300, 2400 daylight saving time, give or take an hour, but they more or less do the same thing. Okay, so when we speak about timing, we are saying that there are certain pairs, especially when we talk of FX or even if it's stocks during the Asian time. Of course, a pair can move at any time, but usually in Asia, we're expecting those which are Asian pairs to be more active in that time because people are up during that time. So market makers are dealing with those guys during that time. Okay, as well as Singapore dollar and all that, Japanese yen, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, those are responsible for the Asian session. London session, we can see, of course, those European currencies, pound, euro, Swiss, and the like. They love to move during that time. It does not mean they cannot move during the other time, but they love to move during that time. And of course, New York session, USD, and CAD. Now, basically, it does not mean that a pair or a share or a crypto or whatever or gold or anything cannot move in any one of these separate sessions. Yes, they can move at any time. They can move in Asia, they can move in London, they can move in New York. But basically, what I'm saying to you is that when the day, this is how the day is broken up. So the day starts, the day ends. So it starts off in Asia. As you know, with the market maker, we do have the Asian box, which paints out marks for us, the Asian session. So usually here we are saying there's not much movement unless if it is for one of these Asian pairs, right? And then we say the fun and game starts when we get into the London session. After the session changeover, we can see some sort of movement here in London, right? And then when we get to somewhere here, New York, if I'm just separating these, the London session is still open, remember, because time in London, people are still trading, but there's a crossover. And this is usually where we see high volatility, the crossover between the London and New York session. And here normally we see a change of direction of price, okay, up to the end of the day. So what am I saying is that each session, there is a high of that session. There's a high which is marked, and there is a low which is marked for that session. Each session has its own high and has its own low. Okay, it has its own high and it has its own low for that session. So these market makers, dealers, what they do is they work hand in hand. So the guys in Asia, they transfer over to London. They tell them who is trapped where and what positions they see, what has been done. London guys, they see where they can make more money. New York guys, and they continue. They all work hand in hand. Okay, it's just like a multinational company. This is what I've been taught, and this is what I've seen. So when we speak of timing, when you are going to place your trade, most traps, we always talk about traps, they happen at the beginning of a session and at the end of a session. Okay, they happen at the beginning most of the time. Not to say that you can't pick a move at that time, you can, but most of them at the beginning and at the end of the session. You don't want to be immediately entering at the beginning and at the end. And the same is true, right? The same is true for the beginning and end of the session, right? Or the day, or the month, or even the week, sorry, the week, or the month, or the year. That is when, remember, whatever happens on a smaller time frame, it happens on the higher time frame. You can see Dow's theory, which I talk of that if you take up the lessons, but you can research it for yourself. So at the beginning and the end of the session, of the day, of the weekend, of the month, and of the year is normally not a good time to be placing trades. That's where most of the traps happen, because the meat of the action would have happened in between the session, in between the day, in between the week, between the month, in between the year. Okay, so when is the best place to enter a trade when we speak of time? You do not want to enter at the beginning or at the end. You want to enter at least when the session has opened and it has shown you, they've shown you the move they want to make. They show you the trap, they trap some traders, and you take the M or the W after the M or the W, right? M for a sell, W for a buy. Okay. Same goes for the day, same goes for the week, same goes for the month, same goes for the year. Okay. But as retail traders, we'll be focusing mainly daily, intraday, weekly trades, monthly. Yes, you can, but more or less we're looking at holding for at the weekly. Mostly we'll look at maybe H4, the highest time frame. Of course, we can look higher. But when I'm speaking of timing, what am I saying? I'm saying that do not enter trades beginning or end of the session, beginning or end of the day, beginning or end of the week. This is why you see most traps happen on a Monday and a Friday. So those are not good days to trade, because they love to trap you during that time, and then they move because they know someone has come fresh. They starting the week, they want money immediately. Your patience is not there. They trap you very easily. Same with the session. You wake up in the morning, you want to just place a trade and see what will happen. They trap you. So normally, the times I've noticed is at the quarter to hour mark, 9:45, 10:45 for the entries, 14:45. 15:45. Those are good times when good setups happen. I've noticed myself. Okay, so let's just have a look at, as I said, all these indicators are available on my Telegram channel for free. Let's just look at a chart. Let's just look at a chart. Let's just see what these traders did. What is this? Okay, this is pound CAD, no problem. I'll use my template, my market maker template. Let's see if we can see what happened in terms of timing. This is London time, this broker of mine. But anyway, where is Monday? This is Friday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Look at Monday. You can already see how he trapped guys along. Let's look at this. As I said, beginning of the week, he loves to trap. Look at this. This is an M. If we come down to M15, you'll see this is the M. This is Monday. Look at that. He made people think that he is going long. And what has he done the whole week? He has just dropped. This is pound CAD. So beginning of the week, guys, no, you don't want to be placing trades beginning of the week or end of the week. Okay. As well as the sessions, these dividing lines, let's go down to M15. Might have gone down to M15. Okay. So the first, this is my Asian session, right? Where is my Monday? Monday is over here. As I said to you, the setup came in New York on Monday. Look at that M. As I told you, you can watch the video on trap moves to see this again. There is an M right there. And look at the 3 pushes. 1, 2, 3 pushes. He gave you 1 push thinking it's a buy, 2nd push saying it's a buy, 3rd push saying it's a buy on a Monday. So timing is very important. And he did it during the New York session. Another thing to note, just look at that. Each session, remember I said it has its high and its low. You can see this was Asia. This is Asia. This blue box is the Asian session, right? You can see he set his high for Asia there, and he set his low for Asia there. Up to here, this is now my London session. From there, of course, London continues, but before New York opens. So this is my London session. From there, as you can see in London, he raised the low of London. That session changeover where everything happens, that was the high of London, right? So notice at every session, expect new things to happen. So he was going up for that day, but building up for the week he wanted to drop. And New York session is when he finally decided to say, that is where he ended the high up there for the New York session. This is the New York session here, this dark gray box, and he made that M and he moved away. Okay, what was the time? Let's just look at what was the time when this lovely setup came. Okay, there was a buy here in London, anywhere there, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., which is about 9, this end. Look at this fake end of the session. Remember I told you the traps end of the session. Look at this fake M here. This M, yes, he could have played it out, but end of the session, guys, we don't want to be entering at end of the session. Look at this. He made this M. Can you see that? Let me mark it for you. Look at this. Very clear M. But timing. End of London session, beginning of New York, we don't want to take a trade. Gave a setup, but the timing, we know is likely a trap. And he came New York, gave you the perfect M, and then he dropped. And even the next day came with another perfect M during New York, dropped, and so on and so forth. So let's just look at the timing when these trades took place. New York, that is 1645. As I said to you, a lovely one. Yeah, London, you could have taken this one. You could have taken it 11:30, which is 10:30 here. New York, there it is, 15:45, quarter to the hour, guys. So yeah, just notice every session has got its own high or low, own rules. Once that session has changed over, know that things can't change. That is for the day and as well for the week. If we zoom out of this, we can see that was the high of the week over there. That was the high of the week. Right, low of the week, he's just about breached it now. So we'll talk more of this if you take up the lessons and you'll get better understanding. But basically, that's just something on timing. Know the beginning of the week, false moves, end of the week, false moves. Try and take your trades anytime from Tuesday to Thursday for your entries. Don't take immediately at the close of a session or beginning of a session or late at night. You've got no business trading at 12 at night, unless if you're looking for something in Asia. But Generally, I'll say to you from about 9 to about half 11, look for your trades, AM, and then come back from about half 2 up to about 5, 6, that's South African time, and look for your trades. Okay, so that's it on timing, guys, and happy trading. I hope this has helped you.